she said. You're 35 years old, playing with a broken motorcycle in your dad's garage. Grow up. I replied, You're probably right. Then I finished restoring it anyway. When the auction house called, offering $240,000 for my waste of money, I, a 35-year-old male, just sold my 1952 Vincent Black Lightning for more money than I've ever seen in my life. My ex-fiancée, Sarah, 33, is now claiming she deserves half because we were building a life together. Let me tell you how we got here. 4 years ago, I found Vincent at an estate sale in rural Montana. The old man had passed away. Widow was liquidating his collection. She had no idea what she was selling. The motorcycle was in boxes. Engine seized, frame cracked, most parts missing. It looked like garbage. But I knew what it was. A 1952 Vincent Black Lightning, one of only 30 ever made. The fastest production motorcycle of its era. Raleigh Free rode one to 150 miles per hour in 1948, wearing nothing but a Speedo and a swim cap. These bikes are legends. I bought it for $3,200 cash, my entire tax refund. Sarah and I had been dating for about 8 months when I bought it. She came with me to the estate sale, watched me load boxes of parts into my truck. Her reaction? $3,000 for that? It doesn't even have wheels, Marcus. You could have bought a running Harley. This is embarrassing. I tried explaining. This is a Vincent Black Lightning. Do you know what that means? She rolled her eyes. I don't care about some naked guy from the 40s. It's trash. I told her my plan. 3 to 4 years of restoration, maybe $25,000 to $30,000 in parts. It could be worth $100,000 or more when finished. Her response? Sure, babe. Whatever you say. I should have known right then. I stored the parts at my dad's garage. He had space and didn't charge me rent, just asked that I clean up after myself and spend time with him while I worked. Started working on it every weekend. Sarah's negativity started immediately. Year 1 was all about assessment and foundation work. I set up a proper workspace in Dad's garage, built a custom engine stand, started cataloging every part I had versus what I needed. The disassembly took months. I photographed every piece, every angle, every detail. Joined Vincent Owners Clubs online, connected with restorers in England and Australia. These guys became my lifeline for sourcing impossible-to-find parts. The expenses started adding up fast. Frame repair and reinforcement cost $2,400. Had to send it to a specialist who knew how to properly weld the stressed member frame design Vincent used. Engine parts, pistons, valves, gaskets, and another $3,800. Found an original Vincent tank in Australia, which cost me $1,200 plus $900 in shipping and customs. Tools and equipment I didn't have, another $1,500. Running total after year 1, $12,800. Sarah's commentary was relentless. Every Sunday I'd head to Dad's garage. Every Sunday, why, she'd complain. We could be at brunch with my friends. How much did you waste this week? $1,200 for a gas tank? Are you insane? That's almost our rent. When are you going to focus on US? Here's the thing, I wasn't neglecting her. We still did date nights every Friday. I paid for our vacation to Mexico. I covered 70% of our rent because I made more money than her. But my Saturdays and Sundays were my time. She kept a spreadsheet. I'm not kidding. A literal spreadsheet of every purchase I made for the bike. She'd text me updates. That's $16,000 on a bike with no wheels. Her friends knew the running total too. They'd joke about it at dinners. How's Marcus's money pit? They'd laugh. Sarah would laugh with them. The comparison game started. My friend's boyfriend just bought her a ring. Ashley's fiancé is saving for a house down payment. Normal people don't spend this much on hobbies. I'd try to explain. It's not a hobby when it's an investment. But talking to her was like talking to a wall. She didn't want to understand. She wanted me to quit. My frustration grew, but so did my determination. Every negative comment made me want to prove her wrong even more. Year 2 started with a major milestone, the engine rebuild. I couldn't do it myself, not to the standard a Vincent deserves. Had to send it to a specialist in California who'd rebuilt dozens of these engines. Cost $8,500. Sarah found the invoice on my desk. $8,500 to fix an engine? That's $25,000 total, Marcus. You could have bought a new Indian motorcycle for that. You could have bought me a decent car. I'm still driving that 2009 Civic with 180,000 miles. I tried to stay calm. Your Civic runs fine. You said you didn't want a car payment, and this is my money from my overtime shifts. She got quiet. Then she said it. We've been together almost 2 years. When does your money become our money? That should have been a red flag, but I ignored it. Despite the tension, I proposed at Christmas. I did love her, or thought I did. The ring cost $4,200. She picked it out. She said yes. For about 2 weeks, the bike complaints stopped. I thought we'd turned a corner. Then reality hit. Now that we're engaged, you need to sell that project. We need wedding funds. We need house savings. You can't be a married man wasting money like this. I set a boundary. I'm finishing what I started. The wedding isn't for 18 months. I have time for both. Year 2 continued. Wheels rebuilt and respoked cost $2,200. Original seat recovered, $800. Electrical system, $1,400. Chrome work on the exhaust pipes, $100. Brake system overhaul, $900. Fasteners, cables, miscellaneous parts, another $1,300. Running total, $34,200. Sarah escalated, started giving ultimatums. It's me or the bike. I'd laugh. That's not a real choice. I'm serious, Marcus. So am I. I'm finishing it. The social pressure got worse. Her mom asked me about the bike at the family dinner. Sarah says you're spending your wedding fund on a motorcycle. I corrected her. Separate savings account. The wedding fund is untouched. Her mom smiled that passive-aggressive smile. Well, marriage is about compromise. Marriage is also about supporting each other's passions, I replied. Then I did something petty. I pulled up Sarah's credit card statements. We'd combined some finances by then. She was spending $400 per month on clothes, makeup, and home decor. That's $4,800 a year. Over 2 years, $9,600. I never complained once. When I showed her, she said, "That's different. That's normal stuff." Apparently her shopping was normal. My investment was childish. 3 years and 2 months after buying it, I fired it up for the first time. Dad was there, my brother, 2 of my bike buddies. We'd spent the day doing final checks, setting timing, and adjusting carburetors. I kicked it over. Nothing. Kicked again. It coughed. Third kick, it fired. That sound, that incredible V-twin rumble, the exhaust note that made Vincent Black Lightning famous. It echoed through Dad's garage like thunder. I got emotional. Not gonna lie. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. My brother was filming. I'd done it. 3 years of weekends. $34,000. It was running. I posted the video to the Vincent Forum, posted it to the Vintage Motorcycle Instagram. Within 3 days, 120,000 views. Comments flooded in. Holy shit, a real Black Lightning. What's the chassis number? Is this for sale? Then came the DM that changed everything. A collector from Texas. $55,000 as is cash. I'll pick it up tomorrow. My heart stopped. I'd spent $37,400 total at this point. That's $17,600 profit for 3 years of work. Not bad. Not bad at all. I showed Sarah the message. Her eyes went wide. Take it. Take the money now. That's nearly $20,000 profit. We can put it toward the wedding. Or a honeymoon upgrade to Bora Bora. Or you could finally help with a house down payment. Notice how it went from the wedding to you helping me real quick? I'm not selling, I said. What? Why? It's not done. Needs paint, final assembly, and detailing. I'm so close. Her face went red, like actually red. You'd rather have a complete motorcycle than help secure our future? It's not our future when you've done nothing but shit on this project for 3 years. She didn't talk to me for 3 days. Went to her mom's house. Didn't answer my calls. Finally texted. I need space to think about if I can marry someone this selfish. I texted back. Take all the space you need. I meant it. She came back with a new strategy, suddenly interested in the bike. Maybe we should get it appraised for insurance purposes. Already did it? I said. And? $85,000 in current condition. Her jaw actually dropped. Wait, $85,000? Yep. For a bike that's not even painted? Correct. Long pause. I could see her brain working. What's it worth finished? Appraiser said $120,000 to $150,000 depending on the buyer. The transformation was instant. Suddenly she wanted to help. I could research paint shops. I could help clean parts. We're a team, right? Too little, too late. I spent the next 3 months on final assembly. Paint job cost $6,800. Original Vincent Black with gold pinstriping. Looked like it rolled off the factory floor in 1952. Final chrome work. $200. Decals and badges. $400. New tires. $600. Final fluids and tuning. $800. Final total investment. $47,200. When it was done, It was perfect. Better than factory. I took it to a local vintage bike show. Won Best Restoration. Photographers everywhere. Classic Motorcycle magazine wanted to feature it. Sarah suddenly wanted to be in photos. Started calling it our project when talking to people. I'd correct her. My project. She'd get embarrassed. We fought in the parking lot. The magazine did a 6-page spread, told the whole story. Photos of it in boxes versus completed. They mentioned it could bring $150,000 or more at the right auction. That's when Sarah said it. We should sell it and buy a house. We should? We're engaged, Marcus. It's our asset now. It was never our asset, Sarah. 2 weeks after the magazine feature, I got an email. Bonham's Auction House. They handle the most prestigious motorcycle auctions in the world. They wanted my Black Lightning for their Barber Motorsports auction. The email said, based on recent sales of comparable Vincents, we estimate $180,000 to $220,000. I had to read it 3 times. $220,000 for my $3,200 pile of parts, nearly 7 times my investment. I called Dad first. He cried. I knew you could do it, son. I waited until dinner to tell Sarah, wanted to do it in person. Bonham's wants to auction the bike. She put down how, or fork. How much? Estimate is $180,000 to $220,000. She dropped her fork, literally dropped it. It clattered on the plate. Oh my God, we're selling it. That's a house down payment. That's our wedding fully paid for. That's our future, Marcus. I put down my own fork. It's my future. What? You spent 3.5 years calling it a waste, called me childish, resented every dollar, every weekend, every conversation about it. I was trying to help you be realistic. You were trying to control how I spent my money. She got defensive. That's not fair. Sarah, did you tell people we were saving for a house together? She went quiet. Because your mom mentioned our house fund last week, and I never agreed to pool savings. Silence. You did, didn't you? You've been planning a future with my money. We talked about it. No, you talked about it. To other people, not to me. The truth came out. She'd been telling her friends the bike money was going toward their house. She'd picked out rings that cost $8,000 or more because we'd have the bike money. She had a Pinterest board for their house that I'd never seen. The fight got worse. 3.5 years, Marcus. I've been waiting for you to grow up. Grow up? I turned $200 into $200,000. That's more financially mature than anything you've done. That means. It's true. When was the last time you saved anything? She stood up from the table, tears in her eyes. If you sell that bike and don't put it toward our future, we're done. Then we're done. She didn't expect that, started crying harder. You're choosing a motorcycle over me? I'm choosing myself over someone who's never supported me. She moved out that week, left some stuff behind. I'll get it later. I boxed it up and left it by the door. I consigned the bike to Bonham's. The auction was in 8 weeks. I used that time to detail it to absolute perfection. Every bolt is polished, every surface gleaming. It looked like rolling art. 6 weeks after the breakup, I was at Dad's garage doing final prep on the bike, making sure everything was perfect for transport to the auction. Sarah showed up, with her brother Kyle. He's a paralegal, works at a law firm downtown. This was not going to be good. Marcus, we need to talk about asset division. I didn't even look up from polishing chrome. What assets? We were engaged, not married. Kyle stepped forward with his briefcase, professional voice. Engagement in this state creates certain expectations of shared property, and I stood up. Stop. Just stop. Sarah jumped in. I supported you emotionally for 3.5 years. I gave up opportunities to be with someone more stable. I contributed to household expenses so you could waste money on that bike. I walked to my truck, grabbed a folder I'd prepared, because I knew this was coming. Here are 3.5 years of Venmo and bank statements. You paid $800 a month for your share of my apartment. I paid $2,800 a month for rent alone, plus all utilities. You paid for your own food, gas, and personal items. I paid for 90% of dates, trips, and entertainment. I spread the papers on Dad's workbench. Every receipt for every part of this motorcycle has my name on it. Every invoice, every payment, my money, my labor, my time. Kyle tried again. Emotional labor has value in. Show me where she provided emotional labor. Sarah's voice cracked. I was there for you. I pulled out my phone, started reading texts. Her texts. Grow up and sell that junk. You're embarrassing. Why can't you be normal? I'm tired of dating a broke mechanic wannabe. Kyle's professional demeanor cracked. Look, man, she just thought She thought she could cash in on something she spent years mocking. Sarah played her last card. Her voice went soft, vulnerable. What if I'm pregnant? My dad actually laughed from across the garage. He'd been pretending not to listen. You're not, I said. How do you know? Because we haven't had sex in 3 months, Sarah. You cut that off, remember? Said you needed space to think about our relationship. Her face went red. The pregnant lie died right there. She started crying. Real tears this time, I think. I just thought you'd share with me. Why would I share with someone who never believed in me? I stayed with you. Nobody asked you to stay. You could have left any time. Kyle closed his briefcase. Sarah, we should go. You're my lawyer, my brother. And you lied to me. You said you guys had a deal, that you'd contributed financially. None of that's true. They left. Sarah was crying in the parking lot. Kyle looked embarrassed. Dad walked over. That girl's got issues. Yeah, but they're not my problem anymore. Sarah went nuclear on social media. Within days of the lawyer incident, she was on Facebook. When he gets rich off something you supported him through and throws you away. Vague posts about users and narcissists and men who can't appreciate what they have. Her friends flooded the comments with support. You deserve better, girl. He never appreciated you. Karma will get him. My friends saw it, started texting me. Dude, what's going on? I explained the situation, and word spread. But I stayed quiet publicly, didn't respond, didn't engage, just kept preparing for the auction. Then she escalated, called my mom, told her I'd abandoned her after she helped me for years and that she'd sacrificed her future for me. Mom called me, concerned. Marcus, what's Sarah talking about? I explained everything, the constant criticism, the spreadsheet, the ultimatums, the lie about being pregnant. Mom was quiet for a moment, then, that girl always rubbed me the wrong way. I'm glad you're done with her. Sarah didn't stop. She called my work, tried to get information about my windfall from the auction. HR called me. Your ex-fiancé called asking about your finances and upcoming income. We told her nothing, but wanted you to know. I had them flag my account. No information to anyone. The peak of her desperation came at the auction preview weekend. Bonhams holds a preview where collectors can see the motorcycles before bidding. I was there answering questions about the restoration. Sarah showed up, dressed to kill, hair done, full makeup, walked in like she owned the place. She found me talking to a group of collectors and started inserting herself into the conversation. Started telling people about our restoration journey. We found it together in Montana. We spent years bringing it back to life. It was so much work, but we never gave up. An older collector, a guy in his 60s who owns 50-plus vintage bikes, asked her a technical question. So you helped with the rebuild? What did you bore the cylinders to? Sarah froze. The correct size? And the cam timing? The proper timing? He looked at me confused. I shook my head. She wasn't involved. At all. Sarah's face went red. That's not true. I was his emotional support. A woman collector standing nearby actually laughed. Honey, I've been restoring bikes for 30 years. Emotional support doesn't rebuild carburetors. Sarah started raising her voice, getting defensive. That's my bike too. I have rights. Common law marriage. We were engaged. Security approached. Bonham's staff were not amused. This was a prestigious event. They escorted her out while she yelled about lawyers and lawsuits. The auction coordinator apologized to me. Does this happen often? First time, actually. That night, her mom called. Linda. She'd always been decent to me. Marcus, I'm sorry. I didn't know the full story. Sarah said you two were building it together. Linda, she told me to sell it and quit every single week for 3.5 years. Long pause. I believe you. She's my daughter, but I know she can be difficult. How much is it worth now? Auction estimate is $180,000 to $220,000. She whistled. Good Lord. Good for you, Marcus. You earned it. Thank you. She's made her choices. She has to live with them. At least someone in that family had class. Auction day. Saturday evening. Prime slot. They save the best motorcycles for Saturday night when the serious collectors are watching and bidding. My Vincent rolled onto the stage under the lights. Looked like a museum piece. The original black paint with gold pinstriping gleamed, chrome sparkled, the crowd murmured appreciation. The auctioneer started his pitch. 1952, Vincent Black Lightning, one of approximately 30 produced, numbers matching, meticulously documented restoration. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Bidding opened at $100,000, hit $120,000 in seconds, $140,000 after 30 seconds. Two serious bidders emerged. One was a museum owner from England. The other was a private collector known for having the best Vincent collection in the country. The war began. $160,000, $175,000, $190,000. My hands were shaking. Dad was sitting next to me, squeezed my shoulder. $200,000. The room gasped. We'd passed the high estimate. $210,000. $220,000. The auctioneer's voice rose, going once at $220,000, going twice. A voice from the back, $225,000. New bidder, someone I hadn't seen before. The museum owner countered immediately, $240,000. Silence. Everyone turned to the other bidders. The private collector shook his head. The mystery bidder in the back stayed quiet, going once at $240,000, going twice. Sold. $240,000. The gavel came down. My brain stopped working. $240,000. After fees, I'd net around $216,000 for a $3,200 investment. 6,750% return. 3.5 years of weekends. My phone exploded. Texts, calls, notifications. I ignored all of it, just sat there in shock. Dad hugged me. "I'm so proud of you, son." Later, I checked my phone. 27 texts from Sarah. She'd been watching the live stream. $240,000? You lied about the estimate. No, it exceeded expectations. I deserve half of that. You deserve nothing. I'll sue you. Go ahead. The museum owner came to shake my hand. British accent. That's the finest Black Lightning restoration I've seen in 40 years of collecting. The documentation is impeccable. It'll be the centerpiece of our British motorcycle collection. He sent me photos a week later. My bike is in a glass case with professional lighting, a placard telling the whole story. Thousands of people would see it every year. My $300 pile of parts. Now a museum centerpiece. She actually filed. 2 weeks after the auction. Small claims court. Maximum amount, $10,000. Her claim, unjust enrichment and breach of implied partnership. The court date was 6 weeks later. I showed up with my evidence binder. Every receipt from 3.5 years, every text screenshot, bank statements showing I paid for everything, photos with timestamps showing the restoration progression. Sarah showed up with her evidence, photos of us together, her engagement ring to prove we were engaged, a handwritten ledger of supposed contributions she'd made. No receipts for any of it. The judge looked tired, like he'd seen this kind of thing 1,000 times. "Ma'am, explain your claim." Sarah's voice was confident. "We were engaged for 2.5 years, Your Honor. We built that motorcycle together as a team. He sold it and kept everything. I'm entitled to compensation for my contributions." "You built it together?" "Yes, Your Honor. I supported him emotionally and financially throughout the entire process." The judge turned to me. "Your response?" I opened my binder. "Your Honor, I have receipts for every part purchased. My name is on every invoice. I have bank statements showing I paid for our apartment, dates, and entertainment. I have text messages showing she actively discouraged the project and demanded I quit." I laid it out. Receipt after receipt, text after text. "Grow up and sell that junk. You're embarrassing me. I can't believe I'm dating someone who wastes money like this." The judge read them, looked at Sarah. "Ma'am, did you purchase any parts for this motorcycle?" "Well, no, but Did you perform and me labor on it?" "I provided emotional support and..." "That's not what I asked. Did you physically work on the motorcycle?" "No, but..." "Did Mr. Rivera request or require your emotional support for this project?" Silence. The judge leaned back. "Ma'am, do you know what type of engine this motorcycle has?" Sarah blinked. A motorcycle engine?" The judge looked at me. "What type?" 1000cc V-twin, Your Honor." He turned back to Sarah. "You claim you built this together but don't know basic information about it?" Her face went red. The judge closed the file. "You were in a dating relationship. He purchased the asset before your engagement. He paid for all restoration costs. You actively discouraged the project. You have no legal claim to the proceeds." He banged his gavel. "Case dismissed. Total time, 8 minutes." Sarah stormed out, crying. In the hallway, she yelled, "You'll regret this!" "I won't. Remember the pregnancy lie?" Turns out Sarah had told multiple people she was pregnant, including her new boyfriend. Yeah, she'd started dating someone new immediately after we broke up, some finance guy named Bradley. She told Bradley the baby was his. He found out about the lie, found out about me, found out about the lawsuit, found out she'd lied to everyone. He dumped her immediately. Her friend group started falling apart too. Her story kept changing depending on who she talked to. Friends started comparing notes, realized she'd been lying to everyone about different things. Most stopped talking to her. She tried one more time with me, showed up at my new house, the one I'd bought with part of the auction money. Marcus, please, can we talk? No. I made mistakes, but we had something real. We had something one-sided. I had a dream. You had contempt for it. That's not a relationship. That's not fair. Life's not fair, Sarah. You taught me that every weekend for 3.5 years. She left. What I did with the money, paid off my car, $8,000, paid off my student loans, $22,000, gave Dad $20,000. He refused at first. I insisted. He cried. Down payment on a small house, $50,000. Invested the rest, $110,000. And I bought another project, a 1974 Ducati 750 Super Sport. Needs full restoration. Cost me $6,500. Here we go again. But this time, it's different. I met Jessica at a vintage bike meetup. She rides a restored 1980 BMW R100. She actually gets it. She's helped me strip the Ducati down. No complaints, only encouragement. Last week, she surprised me with a parts catalog she'd researched and organized by priority. That's a partner, not a parasite. Sarah's still posting bitter quotes on social media. When his hobby matters more than your future. Real men prioritize relationships over toys. Last I heard, she's trying to date some tech bro who drives a leased BMW. Good luck to him. The Vincent sits in a museum in England. Thousands of people see it every year. They read the placard. They learn the story. They see the photos of it in boxes, complete them. My $3,200 pile of parts, my waste of money, worth every penny, every hour, every argument with Sarah. Here's what I learned. Some people will never believe in your vision. They'll mock you, belittle you, call you childish. Keep a running tally of your waste, right up until you succeed. Then suddenly they were always supportive. Then suddenly it's our success. Then suddenly they deserve a piece. Watch what people say when you have nothing. That's who they really are. Sarah saw junk. I saw potential. Sarah saw waste. I saw an investment. Sarah wanted me to quit. I wanted to finish. My broken motorcycle is now in a museum, worth more than most people's cars. Sarah gets nothing except a reputation as the woman who tried to claim credit for something she spent 3.5 years calling to. Rash. Karma's got a V-twin, and it runs perfectly at 150 miles per hour. Edit. Since people keep asking, yes, I still have all the build photos. Made a documentary-style video of the entire restoration process. It's on YouTube if you search for Vincent Black Lightning Barn Find Restoration. And yes, the Ducati is coming along nicely. Jessica's learning to rebuild carburetors. She's already better at it than I was in year 1. She's documenting her learning process on her own Instagram. It's actually pretty cool watching her get excited about the same stuff I love. Also, Sarah texted last week asking if we could meet to talk about closure. I sent her a photo of the museum placard with my bike behind glass. That's all the closure she needs.